Live. Actually, the third of mine today, they get to be more fun all the time because you know what it is? It's repurposing time that would have been spent in private that now could be shared in public. And it's at an advanced stage of me and Marilyn's understanding of LinkedIn. So the stuff we're talking about now is superior to what we knew a year ago or 2 years ago. And we've kind of seen the bumps on the road, and maybe can help some people steer around them and get into it. So this is LinkedIn Live. If everybody or anybody doesn't know Dr. Marilyn Scott, this is a wonderful opportunity. What I want to share too is chat is open, and we'd love to hear from you. And any questions or advice, or just hey, wave out there. We'll put you on and recognize you. So with that, Dr. Marilyn, why don't you share a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dig right into how to get bigger, better, and faster on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I always want to help people soar on LinkedIn. Thanks, Don, for the time and the opportunity to come on your LinkedIn Live. Don and I have been working together almost 3 years. And like a lot of people, when the shutdown happened, it's like, okay, so what am I going to do when I grow up?
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to delve into LinkedIn. And because you can get a lot more connections and followers on LinkedIn than you can on some of the other social medias. So I deleted the other social medias, and I'm only on LinkedIn. That's the only social media platform I'm on. And the reason being is Don and I have worked really hard. We've been through the trenches. We've been through the tagging and the polling and the let's connect. And he's been really heavy on LinkedIn Live, and he's been encouraging me. In fact, I did one yesterday, my first LinkedIn Live. So I was pretty excited about that. And I just love getting out and motivating people and telling them that, yes, you can soar on LinkedIn. When I first started on LinkedIn, like in 2008, I had like 30 people, and I wasn't doing anything with it because, to be honest with you, I didn't know how to do anything with it. And I'm sure there are a lot of you out there that do not know how to do what you can do to LinkedIn. And Don and I are here to help you out. If you're having problems with posting or polling, or you want to get your big boy, big girl pants on and go out there and do LinkedIn Live like we are, we're here to help you out. We're here to get you going because, like I said, Don and I have been through the whole thing, haven't we, Don?
Oh yeah, and that's what makes it possible to go 3 years through this. Is having some company, right? Because once you get, there's so many questions that come up, and you get confused, and you don't know in the beginning what does it mean, or what do they mean, or where does this go. When someone's been up and down the hill a few times, they can save you because their experience can be used for your experience, and then you build trust. And the whole thing is, why would someone want to help you and not help you?
Right.
Right? Once people demonstrate that, hey, give us a try, and it's not for us. We're looking for people who match up. And what we found to be the dividing line between success and failure is people to go out and do something
Yep.
sometime with someone. You can't just sit on the rails and watch and expect to be in the game. And that's okay. But be clear with yourself that it's a hobby, that you're just there for having fun. You have no pressure then to do anything, make anything, be anything. It's just a pastime, and you're not alone.
And the other thing is, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's an absolute marathon. And one day, a long time ago, I put a post out, and I thought it was a stupid post. And I got in touch with Don, and I said, oh, Don, I think I put this post out. I think it's stupid. And he said to me, no post is stupid, because there's people out there that are not posting. And there's over, 800 million people on LinkedIn?
At least, yeah.
And a very small percentage of them do anything on LinkedIn, anything. And people, don't be afraid to get out there and make a post, even if you think it's stupid. And if you're looking for a job, don't ask me to get you a job. I've had so many people ask me to get them a job. I'm not in HR. That's not my bailiwick. What I suggest you to do, and I've suggested this to other people whether they comply or not, make a post, put a picture out there, tell them out there that you're looking for a job, what your qualifications are, and you will probably be lucky enough to get some people that will get back with you and say, look, I have this for you, I have that for you, let's talk. But you got to be persistent. It might not be the first 2 or 3 posts that you put out. It might be 10 or 11 posts that you put out. But how bad do you want a job? I don't know about you, Don, but down in the Richmond, Virginia area where I live, there are help wanted signs everywhere.
Mhm.
But sometimes you've got to go on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is the business social media. It is not there for dating. It is not there for trying to pick somebody up. It's just not. This is the business social media. Use it as such because it's
Mhm.
very annoying when people do stuff like that. I have no time in my life for stuff like that. And we all have the same 24 hours. So what are you doing with yours?
Mhm. Yeah, that's a very astute and very valuable, because, if you're not happy, you got an obligation to get happy.
Uh-huh.
If you're satisfied and comfortable, you know what? You're very lucky. Keep doing whatever you're doing because it's rare. But if you're not, then change. And why would people care about changing on LinkedIn when they get nothing out of what they're doing right now?
Absolutely.
It's one thing if you got to give something up to get something. But here's the thing. Once you get what you want on LinkedIn, it's just getting people. Now, what are you going to do with them? And here's where I think a lot of people make a big mistake. They look up at somebody and say, boy, I'd love to get them to help me. And they forget to factor in the equation. What are you bringing to the table for them? Right? Unless you got some currency, unless you got something that says you're worth it. And to Marilyn's point, going back to that job example, why would you ask somebody to get you a job when you could ask someone to get you a job directly? Right? What kind of worker does that show that you're afraid to talk directly to the person who could give you the job, but you're not against leaning on somebody that has nothing to do with the job and hoping they know somebody, which just shows laziness and the inability to take initiative. And that's why you're out of work now. Right? I mean, so you can
I
answer your
totally
own,
with you. I totally agree
yeah,
with you.
you answer your own question. And the thing is don't ask somebody to do something, first of all, you should do for yourself. And second of all, you should take the next step and do something for someone before they do something for you, just so they make known that they're aware of you. You got to raise your hand. You got to ring on a doorbell. You got to bring a gift if you want a very nice reception. But people, they want it, but they don't want to do it. They don't want to take the time. They don't want to learn it. And they get clumsy. They get ignorant. I can give you a million reasons how you could not be successful on LinkedIn. And I
Well,
can,
there's another reason, in my opinion, why you won't be successful on LinkedIn. Somebody connects with you and you gladly connect with them. They send you a message. I can do this for you. I can do this for you. And I don't even know the person. Why would I want to form a relationship with them when I don't even know this person at all? And then they say at the end, and when can we talk? Well, it would be nice to be able to meet the person offline, which is very important, before you start selling your wares to me or to somebody else. I find that absolutely annoying. I don't care what
Mhm.
you do not know them. And I will say, look, I don't even know you. And you're trying to push your business on me. I don't push my business on anybody. If people want my help, I will be gladly to help them and set up an appointment. But don't be pushy. Pushy people drive me crazy. And a lot of them are pushy because maybe they don't have a lot of money. And maybe they think, oh, well, this gal, she's a doctor. She must have a gajillion dollars. Bingo. I got news for you. I do not. So, but don't push your business on me. Truly, I think it is totally rude. And what makes you assume that, and I don't even know you, what makes you assume that I would work with you?
Well, that's so key because I'm not for sale and I'm not for hire,
Yeah.
right? So no one can just engage like, you're a taxi driver or something. It's really a matter, is there value? Is there benefit to joining forces? Because there's not enough money to be made off of anybody. So unless you can make money with somebody or for somebody, you're wasting your time. Plus, at the end of the day, someone's got to show value.
Right.
When people can see the value, then they're not risking anymore. They're just paying for what they're getting and hopefully getting more than they're paying for, right? And that proves it. But here's what I love about LinkedIn Live. I get like 6, 7 comments, and they're
Yeah.
all good people with real comments. I do a post, I get 90 comments. Most of it is some are posting their own stuff in the comments
Which,
with
in
links.
my opinion, is totally rude. Don't post your business in
It's
somebody.
trespassing. It's like staking on someone else's ground. So I mean,
Exactly. I will delete them. I will delete the post. I will delete the person. That is so incredibly rude. Don't put your business in a comment in somebody else's post. Make your own post on your own page.
well, that's why I got out of the posting and the commenting, because it's like getting up in an airplane outside the airport, right? So you're above it all, and the people who you're with want to be there to do the same thing with you without a lot of distraction. So the key is building collaboration groups and networks on your own. You know what it is? It's like leaving the Titanic and getting a lifeboat. You know,
Exactly.
get away from the chaos, the mob, the insincerity, the scammy, salesy, all that stuff that just makes it less attractive. And just stay with the same people and do more stuff together that's
Exactly.
working, right? Forget about the masses. I used to get, and Marilyn can attest, tens of thousands of views and hundreds of comments when I was doing the 120 tag a day. It's like putting out a huge fishing net and only 10% of it's the kind of fish you want. You got to go through the other 90% to get to it. And you find out that's 2 hours a day. For what?
Or
To
more.
clean up something that I should have never brought in. So at the end of the day, it's all about taking responsibility for what you did and be accountable and be honest with yourself at least first, and then change. Get out of a bad situation. If you're putting in $1 and getting a dime, don't keep throwing those dollars in there. Move them around somewhere where you get it back. And I think that's now what me and Marilyn thought is, not only do we protect our time, we protect ourselves against certain people who do worse and more and steal your time. They steal your attitude. You start out happy, and when you're done with them, you're miserable. And there's so much pain and awfulness in the world. I feel bad for everyone, but when you're in the middle of serious business, like Marilyn says, on a professional network, to hear somebody's family history where I don't know from nothing, and I don't, what me and Marilyn talk about, we don't even know if they're even authentic. So you're hearing a sob story from a robot and then falling for it. The idea is, if you don't know, don't open it. That would be a good plan. And if you don't know the person, don't listen to them.
The other thing is, we're doing LinkedIn Live. We are real people. We're not robots. We are real people. We have heartbeats. We've been through the gamut. And the one thing that Don has always said, get offline with somebody. If you want to really get to know them, Don has over 36,000 people. I have over 18,000 people, which I'm happy with that. But the best thing to do if you really want to connect with somebody, truly connect with them, get offline with them. Schedule a Zoom, schedule a Google Meet, whatever. Talk to them on the phone, but get offline. Because if they're willing to get offline, number one, they're not a robot once you see them.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is get to know them. Don't push your stuff on them, and don't allow them to push their stuff, their business on you. Get to know the person first before you even start talking business. You have to be friends before your colleagues. That's from a lot of years of working with a lot of people. Become familiar with them, their attitude, because you can find out it's like being on a blind date. You meet somebody and they want to work with you and everything's hunky dory, and then their dark side starts coming out. And it's like, oops, I made a mistake. So get to know them before you do any type of business with them. Any type.
Well, I think that is very profound and valuable. And that's why I'm an advocate. Just like if you're meeting somebody new, the best place to meet them is in a very public place, right? If someone says, I want to meet you, then you say, yeah, I'll meet you at a Starbucks or a Panera's or something that's wide open and a lot of people. Well, I just soon now skip the Zoom because, see, in the traditional way, you'd have a post and it's like Pony Express, right? You drop the post. In some short period of time, someone drops a comment or a like to your post or a share if you're lucky. And then you drop a thank you back to them. And meanwhile, it was like 3-4 stages just to get a conclusion to the message. Now you can go to the person and say, thanks for this, blah, blah, blah. Let's have a Zoom. So now you graduate, if you're lucky, to a call. But what are you going to do on the call? You're gonna probably qualify each other, right?
Absolutely.
Now, that's right. But if you now say, and here's what's happening. Hey, I just saw you supported my LinkedIn Live, or you commented, or you were on chat. Thanks so much. I see we got a lot in common. Let's have a LinkedIn Live ourselves. Because then who needs the Zoom?
Exactly.
Right? Because now we got a call to have a call. Let's just have the LinkedIn Live. And the beauty of it is they should be on their best behavior because you're broadcasting them. Right? And now it's their brand that they have to focus on. How do they improve it? And at any time with LinkedIn Live, you could close it down. It has an end stream button. It doesn't take much. So, that's where I'm going, because if something's not working, you're putting a lot of time, you need to change it. Time ain't going to change it. Someone told me the other day, I've been working on this thing for 5 months and it's not working out and I'm working so hard and I'm going to give it another 5 months. And if it don't work out, I'm giving it up. Right. I said, why waste 5 months? It ain't going to change. If it ain't worked for 5 months, you do it for another 5 months, you're going to be 10 months older.
If it's not working, you got to change. You got to switch it to something else. Like Don and I, we did, let's connect. So we were connecting with a lot of people. And then what did we do, Don? We went to polling, didn't we? Well, no, we went to tagging. We were tagging. In fact, to be honest with you, I still tag people.
Me too. It's a great thing. They all have their uses.
That's right. So we were tagging. Now, Don in the beginning was tagging 200 people, and he was always winding up in LinkedIn tag jail. I said, what are you doing this for? You waste all your tags. He says, yeah, I know. I'm always winding up in LinkedIn tag jail. So then he went to 120 tags. So we still had 80 to play with. Because when you tag somebody in your post, that counts as a tag. But if you also tag them in a comment that you made that they have tagged you, that is also a tag. So you have to be mindful of that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to be wind up in LinkedIn tag jail. That's like a no. And you and I don't do that anymore. I think I had it happen to me like twice in the past 3 years. So I was doing pretty good. And then we went to polling. Polling has been great. I
Mm-hmm.
suggest you try polling to see how it's going to do. Some people still do a lot of polling. I think it's a good thing just to see, you can find out people's feelings about something,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. And I find that it can be very interesting. But now I'm getting my big girl pants on and doing the LinkedIn Live. And, Don has really, everything that I've done, Don Cohen has encouraged me to do. And I really am indebted to him for that, because he's given me a lot of courage to get out there and do things on LinkedIn that I might have never normally done, ever.
Well, and the same goes both ways, and that's why collaboration is so important. Is because someone's up when you're down, someone's down when you're up, and someone is more inclined to be honest with you, and just share. Hey, here's what we're dealing with, or here's what you're dealing with. It ain't you. It's a time. It's an effort. That's the way it is. It's like, how come a cake takes so long to bake? Well, that's what it takes. You can't rush it. And another thing is, you can't bully yourself. You got to be your own best friends. I look at, I've been posting every day for 3 years. That means every post is 1/10 of 1% of my total posts, which makes it pretty insignificant. People worry about their punctuation, people worry about their content or their subject. What's important? Showing up. And one thing, what me and Marilyn have done, whether it's been polling or tagging, we played hard, right? And we played strong, and we got seen. We made noise. People knew we were there. We weren't some meek person sitting against the back of the room in the shadows. And when you can get outside of yourself, you don't worry about other people, because you know what? They got nothing to say if they're not playing themselves, right? If they're not on the field, if they're not showing up, why would I care? You
Yep.
know, it's giving them the credit that you deserve, that they should be giving you, instead of taking away from you. And that's where me and Marilyn got into blocking people.
Mhm.
We're not going to rehabilitate. We're not going to point out what's wrong. You cross the line, you're off the cliff.
You're done. You're
Yeah.
done. But the other thing I want to say, Don has a meeting every Wednesday at 12 p.m., 12 noon time, Eastern Standard Time. So wherever you live, you have to figure out your time zone. He lives in the he lives in the Midwest and the Mountain Time zone, so he's 2 hours behind me. I would suggest that you talk to Don Cohen and get into this meeting. We
Mhm.
have seen people soar in this meeting, and we have seen these people who soar have left the meeting because they've gotten so busy, or they got a new job, or they're traveling here everywhere. I really do believe if it hadn't been for the meeting that Don has, and I sort of co-host it when I'm there, these wouldn't be where they are today. I really
No.
believe that. And it's a great meeting. You should really think about, if you're really interested in building your business and building your LinkedIn, you should really get in touch with Don at doncohenconsulting.com and get in touch with him. And I guarantee you will get some nugget of information to get you to start soaring.
Well, that's so kind of you, Marilyn. I appreciate it. But what we've actually provided people is support when they didn't have enough to keep going, right?
Yep.
And whether it's family, friends, trusted advisors, everybody needs a friend when things aren't going well, just to keep them okay, just to keep them breathing. I mean, just to reduce it to one day at a time, and you're okay, right? And people need to hear that. And a lot of times they're telling themselves they're not okay, and they're not going to be okay. And pretty soon they freak themselves out into this fear based scarcity based. You know, I've seen people that for a few dollars a month who were so close to going over the edge decided to save a few bucks and go over the edge. You know, I've seen people who can't invest in themselves because they gave up belief in themselves. Right? You know, if I gave you a horse tomorrow that was guaranteed to win at 5 to 1, and I say you need $100, you would find $100. If you
Right.
were sure, if you were sure, you would do whatever it took and you'd find $100. Well, if you're willing to bet on a horse and do whatever it takes to get the $100, why wouldn't you bet on yourself? Right? The idea of spending money is not give somebody the money and let them carry you across the finish line. It's to get you in the game and show you how to play and let you win on your own. And that's really what the collaboration group is, but what's now going to turn even for the better, because the program can get better even without people in it, right? It just evolves with the people around it, is it's going to be about LinkedIn Live. And actually, the program should be on LinkedIn Live because now everybody gets a camera look, gets a spotlight, gets an ability to have their name on the screen and have their audience see it. You know, that's important for the people who are a little bit slow on the you know, getting into like progressive things or new things. Be a guest, you know, appear, and then once you get a little more comfortable, move towards the center of the table. And eventually have your own table. You deserve it. Why not? Why would you hide? Why would you wait? What are you waiting for? Time waits for no one.
You're absolutely right. And wherever you go, there you are. So no matter how hard you try to escape yourself, it's not going to happen because
No,
you will always be where you are. So learn to love yourself. It's really important. I know people are saying, oh my God, Marilyn, I can't believe you're saying that. Well, I was in that position a long time ago where I didn't love myself. I didn't like myself. I was constantly criticized. I decided years ago, nuts to that. Nobody is going to tell me what to do. I love myself. I am who I am. And you will know, if you get to know me, you will know I am the same way on LinkedIn Live as I am on a private Zoom call. And I am who I am. That's just it.
well, and I think that's really what people should identify with, is that you got to start where you are with who you are, right? That's anything else, you're starting with a lie, right? If you try to be something you're not, and you're trying to impress people, and you wonder who are you impressing, and are they really impressed, and what does it mean? You know, if you don't even like yourself, start with yourself and know there's time to upgrade along the way. Change who you're with would be the first advice, because most people fail not because of themselves, because of the dream stealers that tell them they're not worthy. You're not making any money. What are you wasting time with? And, you know, after a while, you know, they say when the pain of holding on is greater than the fear of letting go, you let go.
Yeah.
Right. And after a while, some things it's like you love doing it, but it ain't worth it if everybody's going to drive you crazy about it, you know, and you give up. And then everybody's got you back to where you started with, doing their stuff with them. You know what I mean? That's the one thing. People love you so much, they don't want you to leave. But staying may not be the place, or it's you graduate.
You have to be mindful of the people you're hanging with because you are only the average of the 5 people that you hang with.
Mhm.
And don't waste your
Absolutely.
time edifying somebody who doesn't give a crap about you. Don't do that. That's a waste of your time. And all you're doing is making them feel better. At whose expense? Yours.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some things that you have to do. I've had to walk away from people. It hurts, but I've had to do it because they were not good people in my sphere. They were dragging me down. Don't be around people who drag you down. Be around people who are going to motivate you, incite you, get you going, say, yeah, put that post out or put that poll out. Yeah, you might want to tag 30 people instead of 200 or whatever. Do it. Get out of your comfort zone. Learn to love yourself.
Well, that's great advice. And hopefully people take that to heart and apply it, because you don't have to trust the advice. Test it. Let it show itself for what it is. And if you like it, great, keep it and do more. If you don't, well, pat yourself on the back for making an effort to change, for trying something new. And it's not always easy, and the first time around doesn't always work. But it's like cracking open the top of a bottle. Now you got access. Now you showed you can do it. And every time you do it, it gets easier, less fearful. And tell me one thing. What did you worry about a year ago today? You have no idea. But that day you felt it. So a year from now, the stuff you're going through, you won't even remember either. So the point is to start with where you are, who you are now. They say throw away your mirror and don't look back unless you want to go back. What's done is done. It ain't going to change. Why relive? And that's why I ask people, when you got a lot of moment and reflection alone, do the best memories of your life and your victories and celebration come to mind? Or was it the almost and would have, could have, should have that fills your mind? And who chooses the channel? And how fast can you change to something else? So it's really being reminded that you're dwelling, in things that won't help you. But anyways, it shows you there's a psychology to this LinkedIn, because it's a people business, and people, you have to get into their mind the right way. And they're not guaranteed to stay the same either. People change, people move, so you got to enjoy what you got while you got it. And if you have it more, that's gravy. But the other last thing I'd like to add is it's easier to give birth than raise the dead. And there's too many people that keep going back to old connections and old conversations that didn't work then, aren't working now. If it's a year later, don't think for a year they haven't had 100 people like you pitching them something you pitched them. So it's not like they've been waiting for you. And you gave them your shot. The idea is there's people right in front of you haven't talked to. And there's people you could choose to talk to and start working with brand new, fresh, because today you're the better you than you were a year ago anyways, the way you left an impression of what you were doing. So it's these fundamental directions of thought, action, time efficiency, relevance, authenticity. There's 800 million people. You don't got to be number one at everything. You just got to be good enough not to be bad. You just got to be out there trying. And the other thing is knowing that not only do other people have to change, the people working with them have to change with them. So it's not like no one's ever arrived. Everybody's a work in progress. And that's why everybody needs everybody, because the other thing is the world doesn't stop for LinkedIn or you either. People got families, people got financial situations, whatever it is. They don't need one more pound of effort to have to go through. LinkedIn should be fun. It should be supportive. And the other thing is, success is so rare. When you see anybody you're working with achieve that success, you feel part of the victory because it's a team effort, right? We had a couple of people in the group that if you would have shown them the crystal ball a year earlier, they would have never believed how they ended up. But by hanging in there, sticking with it, and coming to us, and people had issues and whatever, but where would they have gone without us? Maybe nowhere. And that's where they would have ended. Turn the lights off and call it a day. And it didn't have to be that way. So anyways, this is a pretty long LinkedIn Live. Want to thank everybody for showing up. Want to thank Marilyn. Marilyn, any final words?
I just want people to know that Don and I are there for you. If you are willing to put in the time and to make a little bit of effort to get out there on LinkedIn, we will help you. We will help you soar, won't we, Don?
Absolutely. And you know, one thing we do bring to the table that isn't that often is we know a lot, but we're out there in the trenches with everybody else the same way. You know, that's why our LinkedIn lives are more like you, right? We're not sitting there on a podium, we're not preaching, we're not telling anybody anything they have to do. We're just saying you are capable, there are opportunities for change, and today's the first day of the rest of your life. You just have to determine what do you want to do with it. So,
Exactly.
with that said, thank you. Have a wonderful, safe weekend, and we'll talk again. Bye
Thanks,
for now.
Don. Talk to you soon.